doing better than others. And one of the first things is that every single one of you here today, do me a favor. You all are on computers watching this training, but how many of you also have your cell phones next to you right now? Raise your hand. If you have your cell phone next to you at this moment, you're probably even multitasking. Maybe you're doing a couple of things. Just put your hand up in the air for me, not your real hand. Click the little hand raise button on your screen though. I want to see how many people do. This is going to make a good point. All right, hands are going up. I love it. And you know what? Here's the interesting thing. Everybody here already knows this. Time spent on screens is going way up according to Nielsen. But equally, you know what else is happening? We're not just spending our time on our phones. We're in front of our computers. We're spending time in front of our third screens, which is the TV, right? Watching your favorite shows with your family, your significant others around the holidays. But that is pretty much the standard of the digital economy. And when it comes to marketing, most of us know that people are online. It's not news. What should be important for you to understand is this second fact in the middle, is that most of the people you're going to interact with and that you have interacted with already are spending their time in this thing called the research phase. So on average, it's about 10 weeks. That's according to the NAR. But it doesn't matter if it's their first transaction or if it's their 10th transaction. Everybody that you're working with, buyers, sellers, investors, are going through this process where they're not ready to talk to an agent. They don't need somebody to facilitate because they're too early in the process. And in fact, what they're doing is they're spending their time online searching for answers, right? They're doing their own due diligence, essentially. So this is your window for when you want to establish your existence. You want to get out there and get in front of people in a soft way that's basically you saying, hey, it's us over here at Luxury Homes International. We can help you do X. So again, this is how you're establishing yourself as your experts. You're becoming aware. You're building your name recognition. And again, it's 10 weeks on average. Sometimes it's 6 months, 9 months. Everybody's a little bit different. But here's the average that we're seeing here. And why is this important? Why do you want to get in front of people? Because the thing that's not listed on here that you can't see is that this is when people do not want to talk to agents. They are not ready to. They're just online. So if you can't talk to somebody, how do you give them the reasons to want to work with you, right? To provide value. Well, I'm sure Greg's going to chime in here in a moment, but he knows it's you do it through your branding, right? You do it through your marketing. Patrick understands that. That's why he helped launch this partnership and these tools, because when you do this successfully, guys, look to the right side of my screen. 73% of the people you're going to work with are hiring the first agent they contact. So let that soak in. Most people know between 3 to 5 agents, but the reality is nobody's interviewing 3 to 5 agents anymore. What they're doing instead is taking their sweet time, researching, doing their due diligence, and then ultimately, once they have their decision, they're hiring that agent that they decide to work with. So if you want to end up in the 73%, remember, everybody's going to go through their own time of being online, looking for answers, trying to figure out, get their ducks in a row, regardless of what kind of transaction they're having. And that's your cue. That's the question you can ask yourself, is how do I show up for them while they're in this phase? How do I make sure our branding is effective? We're going to give you part of those answers today, which leads me into exactly what's in it for you. Because everybody here is now wondering, this is great, this is good information, hopefully you're saying that, but what am I getting out of it, right? I got Troy, I got May, Marty, we got Alyssa. There are so many of you on here. I would call out all of your names, but I can't. What you guys are going to get here today, aside from how you're going to outcompete other agents in your area now, right? That's going to be really clear. You're going to have a way to actually make every seller you work with really happy and really excited to want to come back and work with you again. I'm not going to get into it yet because we're going to reveal that in a moment, but happy sellers mean what? Can y'all send a message into the chat? I'm going to get you interacting really early. What happens when you guys create a really good experience for a seller or for a client in general? I think y'all know the answers here, right? They come back and work with you again. They refer you, right? They talk about you. So the last thing we'll talk about briefly today, but we're going to actually get into the details more on the second launch training, is there are some additional resources that have been unlocked. We'll talk about those. These are just extra things, icing on the cake as it may be. We'll show you what those are too later on, but I want you guys to understand what is Adwerx, how it's going to help you. You're about to see that here in just a moment. But Patrick has helped set up 2 wonderful new tools. These are already in your accounts. You're going to be seeing these moving forward as you win listings as well. But there are 2 distinct services we're going to go over. One is a personalized retargeting ad with your face, with the luxury homes branding on it. We'll get into how that's helpful for those of you that aren't as familiar with retargeting. But the first thing we're going to talk about is exactly what Adwerx got started with, and those are your automated listing ads. So these automated listing ads you're seeing here on the left are not only good for you, but they're also good for your seller. And I'm going to show you exactly why in a moment. Now, let me break down how these works. And again, I'm going to preface with saying, guys, if you're taking notes, that's great, but you don't have to remember this. It's going to run automatically in the background for you. Not to mention, if you want to talk about this with a prospect to get them to, give you a listing, there's another tool we have for that does it all for you. It's a video. We're going to show you in a moment. But here's how it works. Let's just say Rose goes out, wins a listing, gets that beautiful luxury property, right? Puts it into the company's feed. What we do on our end is as soon as she submits that information, 24 to 36 hours later, after that listing appears on your website, we are going to start to generate an ad specifically for it. We're going to start to promote it, and then we're going to get it out all across the internet. Literally thousands of times are we going to get that ad out. And you're going to get that experience for all listings, with the exception of rentals and leases, for a full week. So every time you get a listing, we're going to notify you. We created the ad, and then we're going to start promoting it on Facebook, on Instagram. It's going to be seen all over, literally 96% of the internet is what we tell people. And that's outlandish. I know it sounds crazy, but it's because we have partnerships with these big ad networks. So when I say 96% of the internet, it's no joke. That's thousands of premium websites. Now, reeling it back in for a second. A lot of you are soaking this up and you're thinking 96% of the internet sounds like a lot. This is great, but how do you separate the right people, right? Who do you decide to show these ads to, and how are you targeting people? I know that's a question I get often, so I want to address it really quickly so everybody knows and everybody feels really confident. There are 2 things we look at. We want to make sure we're getting in front of people that are local, right? People that have intent. So first thing we look at is this prospective person physically located within a 15-mile radius of the listing address? The second thing we look at is that, do they actually care? Are they in the market for real estate, right? Whether it's to buy, sell, or invest. And what that looks like is somebody's online, they're actively on a real estate related website. So they could be on a mortgage calculator, trying to figure out how to get pre-approved. They could be on moving companies. They could be on realtor.com, actually looking at a listing. So any one of those behaviors, or perhaps looking at like a real estate adjacent website, something mortgage related, that tells us they have intent, not interest, intent in buying, selling, or investing. We see that, okay, they're also physically close to the listing, right? They're local. So we know, great, that's a prospective buyer. Let's go ahead and start putting the listing in front of them when they're spending their time online. So that's how we decide who to target. Now, where it shows up, you guys ready for this? It doesn't just show up on random websites, right? Surprise, surprise. It shows up where those people are actually already going. So think about where you guys spend most of your time throughout your day-to-day. Are you on Instagram scrolling through? Are you on Facebook checking in with your friends and family? Or are you on specific websites, as you go through your workday, right? Everybody's a bit different. The key here is the listing ads will show up on the websites people are already visiting. So that's how we get you in front of the right people at the right time. And we do this every single time y'all are going to start to get listings. Does that make sense so far, everybody? Are you guys with me? Can I just get a quick little hand raise? It's my way of checking in, making sure everybody is good to go. Awesome. So there is the nuts and the bolts of how this works, and that's kind of what we're going over here. Now, again, I'm going to show you how to get into your accounts. I'll show you all that in a few moments here. But one of the things Greg and I both like to address before we get into the accounts is what we call, let me pull it up here if I can get to it, is what we call the seller satisfaction module. So this is something that comes with every single listing ad. Remember, literally 5 minutes ago, I said you can make your sellers really happy. Well, this is how you're going to do it. I'll show you how to do it in a moment. But when you activate this module, right, there are two benefits that happen. Number one, your sellers get an automated report that gets sent to them in their inbox every day as long as that listing is active. And that report looks similar to the one on the screen, except it tells your seller how many people are seeing the ad, right? How many views. It's telling them how many people are clicking on the ad, how many people are excited enough to click on it to go look at it to learn a little bit more. It tells you where the ad recently showed up, like what websites. And then it gives the option, here's the key thing here to focus on, is on the bottom right here. It gives the option of your seller to actually go ahead and share this themselves, right? Put it out on their Facebook page, they can email it to people. Now, everybody's got to answer this question for me. What do we all do when we're excited? When you have a really good meal, what's the first thing you guys do? When you go out and you have a really good meal somewhere, what do we all do? Like maybe that same day, maybe the next day. Can anybody tell me in the chat? And I'm gonna wait because I want somebody to respond. We got 20 people on the call. I'm sure one of you knows where I'm going with this. Or how about, what do you do when you watch a really good movie or a really good show? What's the first thing we instinctively want to do as social creatures? Don't be shy, guys. Remember, Greg and I are the only ones that could see the chat, so go ahead and type in an answer. There we go. Awesome. I appreciate y'all. Write a review. There we go. Tell someone about it. Exactly. Share it with friends. Y'all are 100% correct. People want to brag about their good experience. They want to talk about it. And it's no different when you work with a really good realtor. This is my point. And in fact, actually, my wife and I, that's how we found our realtor. About a year back when we bought our first home that we're in now, it was my wife's best friend, Devin. Could not stop talking about her agent, Keith. We had somebody picked out we were thinking about reaching out to, but they were like, go talk to Keith, he did this, X, Y, Z, it was so great. And so, the rest is history. We ended up having an interview with them and we just clicked. So sharing that experience is really crucial, and for you to make that as easy as possible for your sellers means that they're more likely to do it, which only benefits you. So this is in that reporting. I'm not going to say any more about that. You guys will get a chance to see this. The second thing that happens, everybody look to the right. Now here is where the money is, as I like to say it, is that it could be the same day you get this activated, maybe it's a day later, but at some point during the week, what's going to happen when Sandy or Aaron or Sarah or Cody or any of you activate this for any listing? Your seller is going to be just like casually browsing, doing their work, checking email, scrolling through a social app. And at one point or another, at first they're going to realize, wait a second, that's my house. Okay, all right, weird. They're going to look down here and then they're going to say, wait, that's my agent. That's Aurora. That's Paul. Okay, they weren't kidding. Wow, they actually got me on ESPN. They actually got me on CNN or Wall Street Journal or wherever. Right, so it's a little bit of a shock factor. It makes the process feel real to them. They get to see what you're doing instead of just hearing about it. And they're seeing what a prospective buyer is going to see out there in the wild as well. So again, if you can show somebody versus telling them, which one's going to win out every time? Which one's going to create a better experience every time? Showing, right? So don't worry, we're going to show you guys how to do this really briefly. It's super easy. It doesn't take a lot of time. This is one of those action items I was referring to earlier. Greg, anything I missed you want to throw in here before we show them the video, the LPV in a moment, and then we'll get into some of the demoing?
Sure. Just wanted to add that you can add up to 10 seller emails. So there's a big group of people, family and friends, spheres of influence. We highly recommend that you're adding those seller emails on there as soon as possible, just because we see better engagement. And obviously, as Ant mentioned, that wow factor of them seeing their actual listing while they're just organically on the web or on Instagram or on Facebook.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And obviously it's in the title, right? Luxury Homes International. Y'all interact with probably multiple parties that are a part of a transaction. You want them all to have the same experience. That's definitely going to be something you're going to want to do. So we'll show you how to do that as well. So before we get to that, here's the one piece that I wanted everybody to see as soon as we could before we talk about the retargeting ad or we show you guys how to activate the seller portion. Is how do you talk about this with sellers, whether it's sellers that you already have as a client or new sellers that you want to convert, people you want to win the business from. There's a video. It's branded with your Luxury Homes branding. It was put together specifically for you guys so you could do this. And it's 60 seconds. So first, what I want to do is, it's not even on here. So I want to show you this video real briefly, and then I'll show you exactly where it's at, how to get it, and then I'm going to give you another tip for actually using this outside of just playing it at a listing appointment, because there's a couple different ways that you can use it. But first, let's check this video out. Give me 1 second here, folks, and I'm going to pull this up. Greg, I might have you play it on yours because it's just not popping up as easy as it normally does for me, but give me a moment here. Let me see if I can. All right, here we go. I got it. For some reason, my audio is not working, but or my speakers aren't working here. So bear with me, everybody. Greg, I'm going to have you stream this real quick if you don't mind. I'm just going to send this over. All right, here we go. And then I'm going to change over for you. All right, and then while he's pulling that video up, guys, I do want to send out a couple of links so you have them for when we demo in a few moments here. So you'll be able to access all of this in just a few short minutes. Let me go ahead and send this out. But you got the luxuryhm.adwerx.com. You should see that link popping up. That is exactly how we're going to get into your accounts here. And I'll show you where in there in just a few minutes where this video is actually going to be at.
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
And if we can't get it up to play, guys, don't worry. I'll send the link directly and everybody can just watch it on their computers as well. So technically, normally it plays a little bit smoother actually when it's not coming through a webinar. Actually, let's do that. Yeah, all right. So we'll hold off on that for now since it looks like for whatever reason sharing the video is not working as smoothly as expected. So here we go. Everybody looks at the chat box for a second. You're going to see a link come in. And you should be able to click on that. All right, there we go. I'm going to bring this back for a second. All right. Perfect. So guys, hold on to that link. You can watch it now if you want, obviously, but you know, you'll see it in a moment. But first, what I want to do now is I just want to show you where it's at so everybody can go get it later in case you can't access it or you want to watch it at a later date. But that link I sent out, it's going to bring you to this portal page. So here in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a little button that says log in instead of where it says my account. If you haven't received a welcome email yet, you will later today. Now, actually, Greg, do you know if that went out to them just with their login information? Just want to correct that if
Yes,
it hasn't.
Should have gone out.
Okay, great. So guys, if you haven't seen an email from Adwerx with how to get logged into your accounts for the first time, check your spam folder. For some reason, it goes there sometimes. Look out for that. If you haven't got it, let Patrick know, and then it'll get down the chain to Greg and I, and we'll definitely make sure everybody gets that out. But once you have that information, you come here, you click on login, and then it brings you to your accounts, which look a little bit like this. Now I'm going to zoom in here for a second. So we're going to see we got your profile picture, we have your phone number that can be changed whenever you guys need to. We got these additional resources, which we'll talk about later. And then when we scroll down a bit further, if everybody takes a hard look to the right side of my screen where it says quick links, right underneath of it, it says free listing pitch video. If you click on that, it just takes you to YouTube, and the video is right there. It takes you directly to the video, the same link I just shared, and y'all can watch it. You can start using it. And I think it's a little ironic, I like to say, because it's a 60-second video where Kelsey, right, your digital liaison, explains exactly how you guys are going to help people promote homes locally to targeted buyers. Basically, it makes it really easy for your prospects to understand how you're different and how you can help. It's funny because I say it's funny because we have a 35-minute training that we cover this with y'all, but we've also distilled it down to 60 seconds so that prospects that you interact with really get it very quickly as well. So that's your tool. That's one of the reasons you don't have to remember all this, is because we're going to do a lot of that talking for you in that video. So I encourage everybody to play it today, go watch it, and put it out in your next listing appointment. Because realistically, how many of you have listing appointments coming up this week or this month? Right? By a show of hands, I'm sure at least a few of you have some coming up. There we go. Yep, I got a couple hands up. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the other way that you can use this video. Now, before we get into the other tool, I want you to know this. So if you're taking notes, this is something I would write down, because this is going to allow you to actually get out in front of more people. If you are already sharing valuable information on your platforms, and when I say platforms, I mean any distribution network you have. It could be your database, right? Your email database you're sending out. It could be a LinkedIn profile. How many of you, by a show of hands, have a LinkedIn profile or a Facebook business page? What about YouTube or Instagram? Is anybody marketing and promoting themselves on there as well? Right? These are other networks. Patrick, I see you got your hand up too. I love that. These are other networks in which people are following you, right? They're paying attention to content you're sharing. What you can do is share the video in conjunction with that information, whether it's a market report, tips for how to properly stage a luxury property. The video is a magnet. It's going to capture people's attention. They're going to watch it. Whatever content you're sharing is going to give context. And at the very least, people are going to be watching your marketing. You're increasing your awareness with them. Best case scenario, we can't promise this, but they might actually engage with it. They might comment on it. They might start a conversation with you. So think of the video as your friend. Share it out. Don't be afraid to use it. There's no wrong way to really use it properly except to not use it at all. Y'all with me? Does that make sense? I'm excited. I love the video, the listing pitch video you have. I talk about it a lot. Before I was an Adwerx corporate trainer, guys, I was in videography, excuse me. I did freelance videography. So I made a lot of videos very similar to that for businesses for the exact purpose of getting customers excited, right? Making it really clear, really simple for them to understand how you're different. And that's what that's going to do for you. All right. So we're moving. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, and I just wanted to mention something above the quick links for the contact us. You'll see the live chat, email, call. So each of you as agents have your own personal account representative at Adwerx. It's not someone outsourced. It's one of our coworkers. They're super helpful. So if you ever need any questions, clarification, help setting up any of these campaigns we'll discuss in the second training, they're always available to help you out. I know that I'll always be a resource for anything that Patrick brings up, or we will meet consistently. But again, each of you have another layer at Adwerx that's here to help you, and obviously make sure that you're seeing success and this is as efficient for you guys as possible.
Thanks, Greg, for pointing that out. I sometimes forget about the resource tab to talk about it, but very important. You guys have a lot of people here to help you, and that's the bottom line, is nothing you're seeing today do you need to do on your own. That's the greatest part about the partnership, is you have Greg as an enterprise account manager. You have myself as one of 5 on the training team that are going to be able to provide you constant education and resources from that perspective. And then you have your own account manager, which you'll learn more about and how to connect with them after our second training. So at no point should you feel overwhelmed and feel like you have extra work to do. You have people that are going to help you do it, or do it for you for that matter. That's the beautiful thing about technology, is that it definitely can simplify our lives if we're putting it into the proper context. So with that, we have talked about a lot so far. I just realized my camera's back off, but I do want to point out, when you scroll down in your accounts, right? Here's the top, we come on down to the bottom. This is where all of your content is going to live. All of your ad campaigns will be here. All of your listing ads that you start to get, they'll show up right there. Your retargeting ad is already in your account, so you don't have to go looking for that. You don't have to do anything. It's already active. But since I don't have an example to show you, Remember a moment ago, we were talking about getting your sellers engaged, activating that seller satisfaction module. That will be here. It'll be right next to whatever listing you have in this little white space. And then it's going to be really clear. It's going to say add your client's email. It's as simple as that. You click on that button, you put in the seller's name, you put in their email address, and then you are done. Your seller will start getting the reporting emails. They will start to see their ad online out there in the wild as well, and they're going to be excited. They're going to start getting excited. So remember, that's one of your homework assignments today. I'm only giving you like one, maybe two things. But when you get your listings and you get those notification emails saying that your listing is live, pop in here, add that seller's email, and you go back to your day, whatever other high value task you might have been doing, and this is going to start to benefit you right away. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch over for a moment, because we did talk about the listing side of things, which is very important. It's, you know, again, what we got started with. I want you guys to fully understand how that's going to benefit you, not just with your current sellers, but how it's going to benefit you with winning more business, right? Speak to it, leverage it. Don't be afraid to show that to future clients after you get one with a current seller. You know, let them in, pull back the curtain a little bit. Say, hey, here's how I'm helping my current client do X or Y or sell a property similar to yours. You work with me, I can do this for you as well. Right? All you're doing is you're showing, you're being transparent. Now, the other tool that we haven't gotten to yet, but we've alluded to, and I think everybody's going to be pretty excited about this, is that every single one of you has a personalized retargeting ad. So the listing ads are great for you and your sellers. This is specifically for you. This is a great way for you to build your own awareness, and it's tied to your Luxury Homes International agent page. Now, how this works is simple. Here's a great example. We got, again, 20 agents on the call, some of us multitasking maybe, but do me a favor. If any of you have done any type of online shopping this week, put your hand up in the air. Raise your hand for me if you have done online shopping in the past 7 days. Be honest, I know everybody probably has, right? Whether you're shopping for yourself or gifts or the holidays, whatever it might be, throw those hands up. Okay, all right. So about 70% if I had to guess. Here's the thing. All of you that put your hands up, and even those that didn't put your hands up, you are experiencing retargeting right now, or you will be in a day or so. And the best example of this, right, is Amazon. Everybody knows who they are. They're not the only business that does it, but they're one that did it to such a scale that helped them grow into becoming $1 trillion company. So the bottom line here is that you have some of the similar technology that helped them grow, helping you now as an individual agent. And just a better way to look at this is, you went online, maybe you were looking at a product or service you were interested in. Maybe it was a pair of shoes, maybe it was a TV or a gift for somebody in your family for, you know, any upcoming holiday. But you weren't ready to buy it, you were just getting some ideas maybe, right? You looked at it, hit X, went back to your day, maybe you did it on your lunch break and you got a client meeting coming up, so you had to hop off, you don't have time to finish the transaction. What does Amazon do? They say, not so fast, Sandy, right? Not so fast, Aaron. Hold on, don't worry. This is the shoe you were looking at, right? This is the book or the TV or whatever you were looking at. Don't forget about it. We're gonna just have it pop up here in the background when you're shopping online or when you're doing anything else online. We don't want you to forget that this is the exact thing you were interested in. And you know what, guys? It works. It's been proven over and over again that if something is remarketed to you often enough, when you see it, it's top of mind, so you're thinking about it constantly, so you're more likely to go back, finish that transaction or purchase, or engage with that business in whatever sense it might be. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is now what is working for you as a luxury homes agent, and it looks a little something like this. So whether you send people to your agent page, right, whether you email them and say, hey Joe, hey Jane, go check out our listings, got something right up your alley, or whether somebody is Googling local luxury listing agents, they stumble onto your website, right, make contact, or they're just looking, regardless of what they do now on your website, whether they request information, regardless of if they click on anything, just the act of them landing on your website, when they leave, what's going to happen is they're going to start to see this right over here to the right. They're going to see your face, your name, the luxury homes international branding, and it's going to start to stay in front of them at least for the next 30 days until they come back to your site again, and it's going to keep you top of mind. Imagine every contact in your database that you already have rapport with. Imagine if you sent them here in some meaningful way, right? Whether it was an article or home valuation, loan application calculators, there's all types of things you could provide value. Go to our website, check this out, right? To people you know, it's going to activate this ad, which means they're going to see you more often. Now, maybe how many of you have outreach built into your weekly or monthly calendar where you check in with your sphere, maybe you text them or call them or send them emails, right? To stay top of mind, or maybe to see who's interested in listing. Well, what is this going to do? It's going to help lift all of your other marketing. When people are seeing you, they're remembering you and your relationship, which means they're more likely to open your emails, to answer your text messages, to return your calls. As opposed to when you aren't in front of somebody, what happens? Out of sight, out of mind, harder to bridge that barrier of, where do I remember Aaron from? How did Sarah help me 2 years ago? I'm being a little dramatic for fun, but you guys get the point. Staying in front of your sphere is not easy. Or staying in front of people in general isn't easy. It's just another task you have to do. Your retargeting ad helps you do this. And you don't have to do a thing if you don't want to, because it's already on and it's already in your accounts. So I'm going to flip back here for a second so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let me jump back in here. So here we are. This is Leslie Ann's. Again, it's already running. Now, two things. You can, let me go ahead and click on it for a moment. If you click on Manage Campaign, and then you come over here to the little button that says Edit Ad, you can actually go ahead and personalize this a little bit more. You don't have to do this, guys. So if you're taking notes or if you're thinking like, this seems like more work to do, you don't need to do this at all. I'm just showing you, you have the ability to personalize this just a bit more to you as a unique individual agent, because every agent's different. You have different niches that you might work with. You know, you could change the tagline here, maybe put in something unique to Leslie Ann, sorry. Maybe she's a listing pro, maybe a first-time buyers specialist. I mean, there's so many different subgroups of clients you could work with. But again, you can personalize this a bit, takes a couple of seconds, you hit update, we're gonna check it for compliance, but then 24 hours later or sooner, we're gonna have this up and running with those changes, and now you have a slightly more unique retargeting ad. As you guys can see, I'm definitely struggling with my words here at the end, but I love this portion of it. I want you to understand that not only is this stuff going to run for you while you're sleeping, while you're with a client, while you're with your family, you have the ability to really hone in on your messaging too, which we'll talk about in future trainings, to just make your marketing and branding stand out more. All right, so I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. I wanna check in. Greg, if there's anything you wanna throw in, by all means, you can jump in. But anybody have any questions, comments, concerns so far before we start to do our recap and we talk about what's gonna happen next? We'd love to hear from y'all. What is everybody thinking?
And just wanted to add that as Ant mentioned, there's a pixel attached to your agent page that has the retargeting working. So it is paramount for either whether you put on your signature or other ways, just to make sure that people are landing on this page so that pixel can fire and the retargeting follows them around for 30 days after. Again, we want to make sure these are highly effective. So please make sure that as many people are going to this page as possible, just again, so you can get as many impressions on this ad that you possibly can.
And I just wanted to show everybody, this is the page in question that I was referring to. So keep in mind, for the retargeting ad to activate, they just have to land here. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to click email me. They don't have to click on the quick property search calculator. They could come over here, scroll around for maybe a few seconds to just get a feel for Leslie Ann, and if they leave, they leave. But guess what? Your ad's going to remarket you to them, and it's going to keep you in front of them. So as Greg said, getting more faces, getting more people to come to the website will only benefit you in the long run. This isn't going to happen weeks or overnight, right? It takes time, But I promise you guys, if you just sprinkle this into the marketing and the interactions you're already having daily and weekly, just a little bit here and there, it will make a difference in the long run. It truly will, because it's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So guys, use the questions tab now on the right side of your screen, right? For those of you that came in a bit later, maybe you missed it, but click on the questions tab, submit your questions, your comments, or if you just have feedback, go ahead and send it our way. We're here for you. We want to make sure you're getting the most out of this. But I know we've talked about a lot here. We want to give you guys the chance to get any questions you're probably thinking about answered right now. But if you don't have any questions, that's okay. You'll probably think of them later, and then you'll have a chance to talk to your account rep on that. But as a recap, so today we've talked about the wonderful tools that are provided to you via Adwerx. You have listing ads, you have your retargeting, you have so many people to support you. And then in our second training, we're going to talk about these other 3 tools that are unlocked for you. Now, I'm going to preface, these are extra resources, meaning you don't have to use them. They are there for you. They have their own unique use cases. But if you decide to opt in for these will be at cost to you guys, just to make a clear distinction. But we'll talk about all those and what they do in the second launch training. And these are great for promoting yourselves and marketing yourselves outside of listings, right? So Sphere is very clear, that's like marketing to your database. And then these 2 are great for marketing to your farms, right? Getting in front of new people, building trust at scale. But we'll save those for part 2. You guys will be able to see some of that stuff then. All right, still not seeing any questions come in. So everybody's probably fully absorbing this. I know it's 11 or 11:30 Hawaii time. So I'm sure you guys are ready to get into your day, let this kind of digest. But what we're gonna do next is you're gonna get a chance to look out for your welcome emails, get logged into your accounts. It's really important that you kick the tires, I like to say. Get familiar with your accounts. You're not gonna need to be in there that often, but I think it's always great, especially during launches, for the agents to familiarize themselves with what's in there. And then, of course, 2 and 3. Guys, look at this. Look at my screen for a second. Put your coffee down. Put your phone down. Number 2, if you get listings, if you are getting them and you're getting those notification emails, get in there, add your seller's emails. I cannot tell you enough. We do nothing with this email. This is literally just for you and for your seller. That's the only benefit. So do that every single time. I promise you guys, you're gonna get some great feedback from your clients. Now, the third one is the video. Watch that video, use it in your next listing appointment, and give us feedback. Like, let's hear I want to hear what happens with you. I mean, I've seen how agents use this in a variety of ways. I'm excited for you guys to test this out in your own unique way, in your own unique listing appointments, but definitely go do that. And then, of course, once, I think we have this scheduled already too, Greg, but our second training where we'll talk about the other resources and we'll do a recap. Make sure you guys put time on your calendar for that, right? That's going to be an exciting one where we kind of review all the other things. And that's going to be on the 16th of this month. And I believe that is at, I'm doing my math here correctly, 11:30 Hawaii time?
10:30.
Or 10:30, okay.
We're on daylight savings.
That's right. Sorry, guys. Just trying to do some quick math on the fly here. All right. Well, folks, that is everything I have. Greg, I'm going to throw it to you if you want to close this out. Patrick, if there's anything that you'd like us to address, or if you want to speak to anything, we can unmute you. But guys, thanks so much for your focus and engagement on me, but I'm going to throw it over to Greg to take us out here. We're excited about the partnership, and I'm excited to see everybody in our second training.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. And again, we're here to help along the way any way possible. So whether it's your personal account rep or myself, never hesitate to reach out to us. Obviously, we want you to see the value, and again, make sure that it's working as effectively as possible. As I mentioned before, Patrick spent a lot of time and resources in order to get these tools set up. So he's doing it with in mind for you guys to be as successful as possible. So any way that us on the Adwerx side can make things easier for you, just please do not hesitate to let us know.
All right. Well, folks, take what you've learned today, get into your accounts, and of course, follow up with any questions you have between now and our next training. But guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week. And that's all. All right. We'll hang out for another minute in the background. If anybody has any questions, feel free to chat those in. But everybody is free to go. Have a great day. Take care, y'all.